Animal deaths and energetic omens. When pets reject the bloodline, welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is Occult Bloodlines, Families of Ritual Power. In today's video, we're focusing on a dimension of spiritual discernment that's often dismissed as coincidence. Yet it's one of the most primal, revealing, and undeniable clues that something is spiritually wrong. Animals. Specifically, how animals behave in the presence of occult family members, how pets mysteriously die or disappear near ritual dates, and how nature itself often reacts to spiritual distortions before we even understand what's happening. Animals are intuitive. That's not poetic. It's biological. They sense vibration, fear, intent, and energy before language is even in play. And in ritual families, animals can be both barometers and casualties. They reveal what the system tries to hide. When a person is energetically corrupted, spiritually bound, or hosting an entity, animals can see it. And in many cases, they react violently, fearfully, or fatally. Let's start with the death of pets around you or in your care. If you were born into an occult family, you may have noticed an unusual number of animal deaths around your childhood. Pets that died suddenly. Animals that were lost with no real explanation. Cats, dogs, birds, or rabbits that got sick only after a particular person entered the home. Or worse, that were found dead around significant ritual dates like birthdays, solstices, or anniversaries. These aren't just accidents. In many cases, these animals were absorbing energy that was meant for you. Some pets in ritual families serve as spiritual buffers. They take the hit, they intercept energy, they fall ill after a ritual was performed in the house, especially if you were the intended target and the animal got there first. Animals are protectors, but they're also spiritually sensitive. And in some cases, ritual systems target them intentionally to destabilize the household, to punish children, or to remove emotional support. Let me share something personal. My mother has always hated animals, not in a casual, disinterested way. In a visceral, almost performative way. She expresses disgust at cats, dogs, anything warm-blooded and emotionally responsive. She mocks their presence, avoids their touch, and refers to them as dirty or invasive. And here's the strange part. Animals hate her back. I've seen dogs snarl or bark uncontrollably when she walks into a room. Cats that are normally affectionate will freeze, stare. The energy shift is immediate. Animals feel what many humans are trained to ignore. This isn't just a personality quirk. In occult families, it's a red flag. People carrying certain spiritual energies, especially those involved in binding rituals, bloodline control, or energetic vampirism, often provoke strong reactions from animals. And the more innocent the animal, the more dramatic the reaction. Another telltale sign is the appearance of dead animals near your home, car, or window. This includes birds, mice, snakes, rabbits, especially if the placement seems unusual, repeated, or timed near emotionally charged events. If you find a dead bird right outside your door on the morning of your court date, your graduation, or the day you were planning to confront a family member, that is not random. In ritual systems, animal death is used symbolically, as an omen, a message, or even as an offering. Sometimes, dead animals are used as sympathetic magic tools, meant to transfer death energy onto you. The animal becomes a proxy. It dies to represent what is spiritually wished upon you. In other cases, it's a warning, a kind of dark communication that says, "We know where you are." These signs can feel irrational, but those raised in ritual families often recognize them as coded signals. Because in these systems, nature is not just backdrop, it is a canvas for symbolic warfare. Let's also talk about what happens when you bring animals into a toxic family environment. You may notice that pets who are otherwise healthy begin acting skittish, aggressive, or physically ill in certain rooms or around certain people. You may see them avoid a specific chair, freeze at a particular door, or bark at invisible corners. These behaviors are not random. Pets can see and sense spiritual presences, including ancestral entities, binding spirits, or emotional fields left behind after rituals. If your pet suddenly avoids you after a family visit, or becomes clingy, anxious, or sick, you need to pay attention. That pet may be responding to a shift in your field. Something may have been placed on you, spoken over you, or attached to you without your full awareness. Animals can see that before you do. And in some cases, they try to take it. They attempt to absorb the energy so you don't have to. That's why many survivors of ritual families report that their pets were their lifeline, only to mysteriously die young, go missing, or develop bizarre illnesses. Let's break this down further into common signs and patterns. Pets in your care consistently die or fall ill after contact with certain family members. Your animals display aggressive or fearful behavior around a specific person, even if that person acts nice. You find dead animals, especially birds or small mammals, placed unnaturally near your home, mailbox, or front step. Pets begin acting anxious, barking, pacing, or avoiding certain corners of the house after family visits or holidays. You had a close bond with a pet that suddenly changed or ended after a traumatic family event. Family members express overt disgust toward animals, mock your emotional connection to them, or enjoy watching you grieve their loss. Let's not forget that animals are often used in rituals directly. In high-level occult systems, animal sacrifice is still practiced, not always in the traditional bloodletting way, but through neglect, abandonment, or targeted destruction. Pets may be gifted to children as a way to emotionally bond them to the system, only to be taken away, hurt, or killed to create spiritual shock and break psychic trust. Sometimes, an animal dying around you is the first sign that a ritual has been activated. You may have felt fine, but then your dog got sick, your bird fell dead, your cat stopped eating, and soon after, you experienced depression, insomnia, or a health crisis. The death of the animal marked the beginning of the cycle, not the end. Let's summarize what we've uncovered. Animals sense spiritual intent, energetic corruption, and ritual contracts. Pets in ritual families often serve as protective buffers, and sometimes as proxies for spiritual attacks. Disgust toward animals can signal spiritual distortion or possession. The placement of dead animals is a common occult message, warning, or ritual token. Sudden animal deaths near holidays, eclipses, or major events are often part of a pattern, not coincidence. Pets may become ill or reactive after a family visit due to energy transfer or attachment. The reaction of animals, especially repeated across species or years, should never be ignored. If animals have always comforted you, protected you, or reacted violently to someone in your life, it's not just instinct, it's insight. And if they disappeared, got sick, or died right before you suffered a major trauma, it may not have been about them at all. It may have been about you. In ritual families, nothing is out of bounds, not even the creatures that love us most. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and what you just watched is part of my signature program, the Chosen One series inside School of Soul. This series is not just a course, it's a blueprint for those who know they were different from the start: the black sheep, the scapegoat, the truth teller, the cycle breaker. Inside, you'll discover the family roles playbook, the golden child, the scapegoat, the enabler, the lost child, and how to finally step out of the part you were cast in without consent. How the black sheep becomes the goat, turning rejection into radical transformation in leadership. How to break generational curses and rewrite ancestral contracts so the pain stops with you. And how to recognize and escape modern forms of spiritual and technological targeting, from gang stalking to synthetic synchronicity. This isn't just about survival. It's about awakening, about reclaiming your voice, your lineage, and your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Click the link below to access the full series now, because the role ends the moment you decide it does, and the real script begins with you.